We back at it again. What's good, y'all? Peace. It is another episode of Jen's Journals Countdown to Cocoon. And we back at it. I know there was not an episode last week. I know some of y'all who've been keeping in. Y'all was probably looking forward to that. And my apologies, but it was just a lot going on, y'all. We had my auntie's funeral, and then I was with the family just all weekend while they were in town, because a lot of my family traveling from overseas, we don't really get to see them, so we was just all kicking it. The cousins was all kicking it, and then literally immediately after that I got sick. Like, I got sick, and still had to, I was working remote, but still had to work because we that same week got 2 new hires at work. And I'm also a full-time IT job. For those who don't know, I know I don't. Do I look like I'm in IT? I know I don't look like I'm in IT. But yes, your girl is multifaceted in this bitch, okay? And yeah, I'm the lead, so I'm very heavily involved in the onboarding and training process. I'm mainly the one training and getting the new hires together and prepared for the job. So yeah, I still had to train them because they were starting, and it's like, like, I wanted to make sure that they were prepared and set up for success. So yeah, all of that was happening, and I guess that kind of just brings me to further expand what this episode is going to be about. It's just realizing and recognizing, like, the importance of really taking that time for self. Really, it can be hard as somebody who is a creative, an entrepreneur, but also still has a full-time job, is a daughter, an eldest sister, who also still values my relationships and maintaining my relationships and still wanting to be present and involved in my relationships. It can be difficult trying to find that work-life interpersonal balance between dedicating time to my career and as far as my creative pursuits and my music and my artistry and all the things, dedicating time to work as far as my IT career goes, and then dedicating time to friends, family, etc., and then dedicating time to myself. So it's like I already was operating off low capacity with not physically feeling well, and then still dealing with the emotional aspects of having my auntie's funeral. And then even further than that, it's like, bro, I just don't have the capacity to deal with all of these things and then record an episode, edit the episode myself, make the thumbnails myself, because yes, I make all of the thumbnails for these episodes myself in Photoshop, and that does take time. So I was like, yeah, baby, I just didn't have the capacity, and I wasn't gonna lie to myself. And I said, you know what, they still gonna be there. You need to tend to your vessel right now. You literally physically don't feel well. And I know sometimes and that's gonna mean sometimes you just gonna have to use your discernment and say no. Certain things, when, as far as training, I was like, okay, we can figure it out. We can do something remote where I won't necessarily have to leave the crib. Mind you, I had a sore throat, so I was still training through the sore throat and all of that. But I told, the people that I'm involved with business-wise, and even just like my personal friends and everything, I was like, yo, there are some things, and mind you, it's Leo season. I have so many Leo loved ones, like so many, from literally like the 5th to the 21st. No, not even the 5th. From the 31st. No, from the 23rd. From the very beginning of Leo season to the 21st. From the 23rd of July to the 21st of August. I literally have a loved one who has a birthday damn near almost every week. There's a birthday. So, and we know how Leos get, baby. Like, we need to show up for them. So just wanted to make sure that I was still able, in the spaces when I was feeling good, still able to show up for my loved ones in that space too. It's some things that I had to say no to. Some people reached out to me for certain opportunities, and I'm always grateful for any opportunity that comes my way. But it's also just having the discernment and knowing yourself and knowing your capacity to know when to say no. And sometimes that may very well rub somebody else the wrong way or make them feel like you're not consistent or dedicated enough. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm dedicated to me first, you know, and dedicated to the things that I value. And obviously, I value my artistry, I value my creativity, I value being able to show up. But if I can't show up in a capacity where I'm going to be doing a good job, then I don't want to compromise quality just for the sake of saying that I showed up. So if I know I'm not in a space where I can give the quality, give the energy that's required of me, I'm not gonna say yes to that opportunity. I just can't. I think that's what we need to understand as creatives, because especially a lot when we're hungry, we're gonna want to say yes to every opportunity that comes our way, and do what you do. You know, at the end of the day, that's, you know, you live in your life, and it's never hurts to get the experience. I had to get the experience when I first started doing music. I was saying yes to every damn opportunity, every single one. But I've also had instances and experiences of realizing this opportunity is not in alignment with me, or folks is just not organized at all. It created more of a bother and a nuisance with certain opportunities and it made it hard to feel grateful for the opportunity, because you're like, this just ain't for me, you know. But either way, there's still gratitude in that, because it's gratitude in building up your discernment and learning what is for you and what ain't for you, because you don't have to say yes to every damn thing. You don't have to push yourself into burnout just to prove something to nobody, you know. So always be mindful of your capacity, your energy levels, your values, what it is that you're willing to say yes and no to. An opportunity can be a great opportunity, but honestly and truly, when it comes to like alignment and knowing yourself and knowing the type of person you are, the type of artist you want to be, some opportunities may be great opportunities, they just may not be for you. You know, if you miss out on an opportunity, it wasn't yours. And sometimes some opportunities circle back around. So, you know, like, it's when you start to really understand and see and notice that I am abundant in opportunity, I am abundant in creativity, I am a resource. So I don't have to stretch myself too thin to try to show up and prove my worth or value in these spaces, when I already know I'm worthy of the opportunity anyway. That's why I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think that's something that I had to remind myself of when I was saying no to certain opportunities. And obviously, you know, some people are very understanding. Some people, it can rub them the wrong way. It can make them perceive that you're not hungry enough, that you don't want it enough, that you're not willing to be consistent, or that you're not willing to dedicate time to your career, all of the things. But when you know yourself and you know what you're willing and capable of doing, and what you have been doing amidst everything that you've been dealing with behind closed doors, respectfully, you know, you can block out the noise of the outside opinions, because it doesn't mean that they may not matter or have any validity in any retrospect, but they also don't know everything that you're dealing with. And you're still a human being. You're not a machine, and you have certain values. And when you know your values within yourself and what you are and aren't willing to do, then a no is a no. Like it's a boundary. If it's a boundary that you have to place for yourself because you understand where you at and what you can and can't take on, then a no is a no. And people just gonna have to respect the no. And you're gonna have to be able to stand on your no, even when people don't like it. And that's anybody. Friends, family, business partners, co-workers, whoever it is, with all love and respect. You know, you got to know when to stand on your no and when to be firm in your no, because then you'll start to reach into, when you just start saying yes to people because you're wanting to feel affirmed by other people, or feel validated by other people, or try to prove something to other people, that goes into seeking external validation. And I'm also in a space where I don't need to seek that. I'm like, especially when I ain't feeling it, I'm like, if it's a problem, we could talk about it, because I'm grown. We can always have a conversation. But all I'm going to do is reiterate why it's still a no. Like you're not going to make me change my mind. If it's a no, if I'm feeling no in my body, then it's a no. And that's just what it is. And But yeah, you got to take care of yourself, man, because at the end of the day, in order to be able to have the energy to do all the things you need to do, you have to be feeling good. You know, like on a health level. Like I'm not gonna be out here fucked up. Like if I'm dealing with something mentally that's fucking with my ability to think and see clearly, and I need to really process that and emotionally release, if I need to somatically release, if I need to, you know, get better because I'm physically under the weather, like, then that is the priority, period. Everything else will come after, because I'm not going to be able to move as my most optimal and effective self if I'm feeling like shit, you know? So keep that in mind. You know, a lot of us, we start to become, it's beautiful and wonderful to be ambitious and to dedicate time to your career and to be a go-getter, but also know that you're a human. You are not a machine. And it is okay with taking a break. It is okay with saying no. It is okay with disappointing people, as long as you ain't disappointing yourself in the process, because you're staying true to yourself and you understand that ultimately you're doing what's best for you. Now, don't let that lead into laziness, and don't let that lead into procrastination, and don't let that prevent you. You know, take your break, but don't take too long of a break to where you've fallen off and it's compromising your consistency. But if you need to take a break, feel free to do that. And that's just what I wanted to talk to y'all about on this episode today. So yeah, I hope whoever needed to hear that was able to hear it, and I hope it's resonant. And we're gonna be back, baby, because there's still more to come. Peace.